Alrighty, we're back, I think. I've just gone a bit cold, so it's been coaching for the last hour or so. Let's just jump to the set a couple of shots. Just hit a couple of shots. And hopefully get a few of you guys asking me some questions. Oh, that's amazing how quickly I just stiffen right up. Just loosen up for a few, just while I'm... Oh dear. See, that was rescued. That was proper rescued in the swing. That was. Oh. Right then, what have we got? Well, to work in the impact position, or how you work on feeling the correct impact. For me personally, this is why I don't do this kind of sort of stuff video-wise, generic kind of stuff. So Doug has just asked about how do I sort of practice impact position. For me, I've always had a tendency to get just a little bit slidey, so I tend to get here, a little bit what you call stuck, and then just get it across the body, arms going across the body, so closing rate gets a bit high. So I always just work on, you'll see when I have my practice swings, I always work on just trying to get the hips opening, get the chest as open as I can to impact. So whenever I have a practice swing, you'll see me do that. So I'm just trying to get, here as much as I can, press off the ball on my right foot, get into the heel of my left foot, just trying to get into that shape basically, but that's me. And again, why I don't do these type of videos, because we're all different. I don't know what problem you've got, I don't know whether you stay too far back. So if you stay too far back and you start working on trying to do that, it's going to make you worse. Shanky said do this and I've got worse. Which is why I don't do that kind of video. So for me, I'm just trying to get into that shape as much as I can. And when I feel that I get the hips and the chest open more, that's when I hit my best shots. That felt quite good. It's a little bit leaky, but it's not too bad. Right, let's just try and do a little bit of BLI then. BLI I find very tough because I make a lot of putts via kind of changing my speed at the ball enters the hole as well. So you'll often see me when I read a putt, I'll just go kind of once up there and just go, right, that's about right. And I'll just make that more with speed. I find that the more I go backwards and forwards, the more I get kind of doubt as to whether, oh, is that enough, is that whatever. So I just kind of look at it and go, right, it's breaking left. The first third is not going to break as much, so from there to there it's probably not going to break very much because it's going to be travelling its fastest. The second third it starts to take the break, and obviously at the end when it's slowing down it has the most break. So I'd aim at probably there. It's 16 feet, 3 up, so that's 19 feet. It's slightly uphill, so it's not going to break as much. So I think that's 6 miles an hour. And just kind of make it with speed, really. So if I think at this point, if I think, oh, I haven't aimed it quite far enough to the right, and it's going to break too far left and miss low side, I hit it a little bit harder just to keep it on line. If I think I've aimed a little bit too far right, I hit it a little bit softer so it dies into the hole, so it takes a bit more break. So I kind of play around with it a little bit with that as I go, and it's all just, it all kind of happens naturally while I'm standing here, really. So just make it with the speed, really. So if I just if I just overread it a little bit like that, so I've overread that a little bit. So this one I'll just hit a little bit softer, and hopefully that will start, you know, that will still take the break. If on the next one, I kind of underread it a little bit, I'll hit it a little bit firmer just to get it to hold its line. Not quite firm enough, but that's kind of what I do, and I just do it on the fly. It's just super quick. And I just kind of line it up, and just from that, know kind of how hard to hit it. Well, we've got 4 feet to play with. So we can definitely hit it a little bit firmer. Let's go a bit further away. I don't know, really. I mean, that's not going to do very much. Not do very much at all. 23 plus 7 is 30 feet. 7.5 miles an hour. I'll hold it. So speed-wise, it's fine. I don't know. BLI is tricky, I think. But I do generally do it very quickly. From a bit further away. Just have a quick look at it. And I'll think, okay, let's go across. Let's go much further away. So what I'm thinking from here, obviously that's going to break quite a bit from right to left. I'm thinking more about leaving this pin high, so I'm trying to get really on there with the yardage, or footage, whatever you want to call it, and get it down so that it leaves me the best opportunity for the next putt, so leave me the uphill putt. So I just want to make sure that I miss that kind of pin high. So if I do have to hold a 5 or 6 foot, I'm then going up the hill. So I'm thinking that as well, if I miss the green and I'm putting, chipping on, I'm trying to get it close that way. So I wouldn't want to, so for example, I wouldn't want to be hitting from here and hitting this too soft. So if I hit that too soft, and I leave myself off, yeah, a bit too soft, but now I leave myself that really tricky right to left to still. I'm trying to leave myself, so if I don't read it enough at all, but at least hit it the right distance. Rifled that one. At least from there, I've got an easier putt back up the hill from 7 feet in theory. These ones, I see these ones over-read all the time. Yeah, there's quite a bit of break on it, so people kind of end up aiming over here and then hitting it very sort of negatively, a bit too soft. I like to aim these quite straight and just bang them in. So don't aim a huge amount off at all and just bang them in. Just knock it straight in the middle. That's probably enough for BLI. If what have we got? Still an impact. A couple of swings going from really low rate of closure to really high. So uphill, downhill. Let's go to a different green and see if there's a bit more slopes. 9 inches uphill. So that's too far. Let's go. I'm not going to miss it 60 feet, right? 34 feet plus 21 inches uphill. So 34. Yeah, it doesn't quite work out that. I mean, it's uphill for most of it, so it is going to be a little bit slower. You have to look at what it does all the way, because it might be, I mean, this one doesn't, but say the flag was more over here, from here to here, it doesn't go up an awful lot, whereas it from here to here, it goes up a huge amount. So then obviously if it's travelling fast, it's just going to go miles. So 34 plus 21, 55, about 10 miles an hour would get there. Just load it up on practice mode like this and just putt. Just practice. You show a couple of different swings going from really low rate of closure to really high. I'm not that good, Tommy. Blimey, I'm not that good. Okay, so let's try. So 6 iron. My normal rate of closure is somewhere around 2,000-ish. But I'm not really warmed up. But if I really work the hands, then it gets really high. So just try and flip the hands at it, and it gets it really high. So that was really high, I think. 47, yeah. So just trying to rescue that. So that's one of the ones where I could try and rescue it. So it's really late, and then really trying to rescue it. It's very random. It's very random. Sometimes it works opposite because it's all to do with path and everything as well. Face the path. You often find that the more you get it into out, it doesn't close as quickly. You get it out to when it might close quicker. It's something I need to be much more warmed up to be able to really control. It's not something, to be fair, I overly worry about. I think the biggest thing is there are far more swings that I do where I've rescued it than you'd ever believe. I rescued probably 90% of my shots in a round. I hit maybe 2 or 3 shots in a good round of golf where I've hit it exactly as I want to hit it. If I stand here and do blocked practice and hit shot after shot after shot, I get going and I get a run of shots where I get the numbers almost the same. But in the course of a round of golf, it doesn't happen. I hit maybe 2 or 3 shots that are absolutely as I intended to hit them. That was close. That wasn't overly rescued. That was pretty good. How do I practice half wedges? We saw over there we did 60-yard wedges, but just reference. By the same yardage. Okay, so I'm going to do stinger. I'm going to do Tommy's stinger because I've got that shot in front of me, and then I'll do the wedges. So stinger. I play stinger, you've got to think of then D playing, so it gets a little bit more technical. So the more I put my ball position back in my stance, the more my swing is going to be moving out to the right, so the club's going to be moving in to out more. So for me to hit stinger, I aim very left. but get my ball position. I don't know if you can see my feet, probably not quite, and certainly not the ball. But the ball position now is right opposite my big toe of my right foot. So my ball position is massively far back. I then lean into that left side, get the forward shaft lean, and I just feel like I go straight up and straight down into it, but I try and get really handle there first. Back of the watch face towards target, and just absolutely kill it is generally how I do it. Now I don't see the ball flight in here as low as I see it in real life. As it's getting a bit darker, I'll take some video when it's darker, and in a couple of months' time it'll be dark when I finish, and I'll go outside and I'll actually take some video of the ball flight rising through the floodlights. That's quite cool, but you don't really see it on sim with the GC2. So really open the stance, ball position back foot, lean the weight forwards, and just feel like I'm going to hit the ball down into the ground. And that's a 6 iron. I just love it. It is such a cool shot to hit. Now what did that? Oh, it's not giving me all the numbers. Launched at 6.9. That was a pretty good one. So ball back, open stance, open everything, and just rip it down there. That is a 6 iron launch at 6 degrees, 11 degrees of loft delivered, 101 mile an hour club head speed. Is just like sexy golf, isn't it? Sexy golf. This is good. I enjoy this stuff, guys. What have we got? We've got the dog wedges. Okay, so park wedges. Yeah, I did that video, didn't I? I just fired them in there from 60 yards. I like doing. So let's go 60 yards. I'm a bit out of practice on these. I haven't done a lot of work on them for a while because I've been working on my full swing. Generally, I will hit 60 yards lob wedge, kind of 9 o'clock. For me, it's a 9 o'clock. So I judge all my short game shots on clock position. So I go left arm 9 o'clock, and then through right arm pretty much 3 o'clock, maybe slightly longer on the through swing to accelerate. And that for me generally is that 60-yard shot that I'm normally very good at. And I will just do that kind of swing and just try and vary. Oh, I'm so out of practice. And just vary the dynamic loft to vary the spin as well. What was the other question about it? So I will generally play a little game with myself that I go 60 yards, 80 yards, 100 yards, 120 yards. I have to hit 3 shots in a row that are inside 10 feet. So I will just stand here and I'll hit. And this is what I haven't done for a while because I have been working on my full swing. And I will just stand here hitting this yardage. That's a better one. Hitting this yardage, hitting this shot until I hit 3 shots in a row, the same place basically inside 10 feet. And that kind of does build up that pressure, because then on, hopefully on that 3rd shot, you see now I've got a little bit of pressure. So I've got to hit this inside 10 feet to be able to move on. bring it down. Yeah, so then I'd move that to 80 yards and do the same. So just move it back. What have we got? Would I hit the same carry yardage with pitching wedge? The conditions. Yeah, so I might then try and do that with. I mean, traditionally I'd do that 60 yards with my 60. I might then try and do the same thing with my 55 degree, with my sand wedge, my 50-degree gap wedge, and my pitching wedge, and just vary the landing spots again, depending on if it was into wind, downwind, whatever that might be. For me, it's about trying to create that pressure. So for me, I have to hit 3 shots within 10 feet of the hole to be able to move on, and I feel that pressure on that 3rd shot. So when I've got that 60-yard shot, for real, I've got the same kind of feeling, and I'm used to that, so it's not different for me. So if I go gap wedge and just try and feel that in, a little bit down the handle, and just try and feel that into, oh blimey, hit the pin, and just try and feel that in. This is why you need to work constantly on it, just to get dialed in. It doesn't take too long to just dial into it. It's pretty straightforward stuff, really. Just a little heavy-handed. You can see you'd soon get quite good at it, quite quickly. Wouldn't take too long. Any more? Someone said driver. Yeah. Feeling driver right now, I think. Let's have a look. The driver shots. So driver for me, I mean, everything for me is I've just tried to work on getting everything more neutral. So actually, because I've played a couple of times in real life, I stand quite open in real life and just find my hips so much better outside. And I use the ground more. My swing speed is faster outside by 2-3 miles an hour at least. And I hit the ball very straight outside. In here it was getting a bit slingy, drawery. So I've just tried to change that in here and actually stand more open. And just hit more of that fadey one. Just when I'm not warmed up, I tend to hit toey because I come out of it a little bit. I think what catches a lot of people out, and I see it in lessons all the time, because everything's square, you're on a square mat in a square room, you've got everything perfectly lined up. Of course, everybody just stands straight. But I've stood behind a few tour players at events, and very, very few of them actually aim at their target. And even I stood behind Westwood for a practice session, basically at Wentworth, and he was aiming nowhere near his target, but he was hitting the ball dead straight to his target, even though his feet weren't pointing there. So I get really annoyed when people start talking about, oh, well, your feet are aiming down there. Doesn't matter. Right, my head driver. What have we got? Oh, Stinger, what about adjusting impact location on driver? If you've not got HMT, don't even bother. 3/4 type swing, yeah, okay, I can do that. What, 3/4 swing with the driver? three-quarter swings in general with irons. If I have to guarantee I hit the fairway, I hit a hybrid. Leave the driver in the bag. There is a fairway finder swing. Yes, I do have a fairway finder swing. Again, this is one of my little things about these kind of videos. My fairway finder swing is potentially very different to another person's fairway finder swing. I will grip a little bit lower down the handle, and I will bend my knees a little bit more. So I go a little bit down the handle, I bend my knees a little bit more at address, and just stay a little bit more solid in the legs. So just bend the knees a little bit more. I will just I will hit it straighter to maybe just a slight fade in real life, and that will kind of pretty much guarantee me hitting the fairway. I just often strike those actually much better as well. So down the handle, a little bit more knee flex, keep the legs a bit more solid. That's kind of that really. Bush recovery. Yeah, hit and hope. What about a quick course management with driver? Okay, so obviously when we played this, we played it from, I'm not sure which tee it would have been, but I remember hitting 3 wood, so it might have been off these tees. Now, obviously that for me, driver is going to reach I'm not going to reach that with a 3 wood, so that's when I would look at that and go, okay, that's going to leave me the right distance. The other time I would do it is, I don't know the course well enough, but let's say it's like there. Obviously that's a 3 wood or hybrid down there. We've got the hole number 8. It's more, again, it's kind of like shots like this. I mean, 318, maybe a bit further back. So 341, so that, for example, 341, I mean, imagine the tree wasn't there in the way. If I hit driver, for me, around 300 yards, I'm going to leave myself 50 yards. Now, statistically, the worst played shot on all tours worldwide is about 40 yards, because you can just hit any shot. I wouldn't want to hit driver here, because it's going to leave me in that kind of 40 to 50 yard range. I would hit my fairway finder driver, potentially, and leave myself kind of 80 yards. Or I'd just hit 3 wood and leave myself to 100, 110. I like that kind of distance. If I hit 3 wood, that takes that bunker out of play. I'm always kind of thinking where I want to leave myself. I might be tempted to bash driver kind of over here and just get it a little bit wide down that side and leave myself 70 yards. I might do it there, but generally I would just leave myself the longer shot. And also look at where the pin is. If the pin was at the front, I want to be hitting it in from 100 yards rather than from 60, 50, 40 yards. Aim open with the driver but still hit the drawers. Is that to stop you overdrawing it? It's basically more about aiming left with the driver, because that enables me to get my hips clearing through it more, so I can deliver it more with the body that way. If I stand square with it, I'd still tend to get that slide and then get here and then hit it with the hands, which brings in the toe. So that will just kind of stop that really, or reduce the chances of that happening. Let's kind of hit the fairway finder down here then and just see what it does. Oh, the concentration's not really there. Oh, Finny said it now a bush. What else do we do? Any more? Any more for any more? Stinger 4-iron. Stinger fade. Oh, that's it. It gets up a lot higher in here, I'm sure it does. Stinger driver. Stinger driver. I don't really hit stinger drivers. It's not really a shot that I would hit, I don't think. Can't remember the last time I hit a stinger driver, put it that way. I'll flight it a bit lower, but I haven't stinger driver, blimey. I hit a stinger driver. All in the middle. Not like that. No, I don't think I would. I don't think I'd try and sting a driver. I think I'd go 3-wood if I was going to try and do that. Try another one. It's hard to control the face with that little loft on it. Oh, Gary. Same setup, difference in hitting pull fade versus push draw. Same setup. Okay, so 6-iron. If I was going to do so, same setup and then pull fades, push draws. It's all about the transition then. So if I was going same setup and trying to hit a pull fade, I'd go probably a little bit steeper in my backswing and then get it over the top to start down and just hold it off. Just really try and get my chest on top of it. just try and get in here, really smother it that way, and just pull fade it, I would. So same setup, get it a little bit steeper, and just feel like I cut across it. Just all dynamically, just trying to really get over it. Didn't really pull it, but pick it up. That's a golf shot. And then with push draw, you just get it top and just drop it in more, just externally rotate that right arm a little bit, get it in there. It's tricky when the natural shape's that way, so then exaggerate it, doesn't come back. That's the old slinger. It's the one I'm working on trying to get rid of. I'm surprised no one's asked for a straight shot yet. Hardest shot in golf. Most common reason for us not dropping shots. I think for you guys, the areas that I see you guys dropping shots from is missing it in the wrong place. So this is probably not a great example, this hole. Let's have a quick look. What have I got? 3 minutes, 4 minutes. Let me find a tough pin, hopefully. Yeah, so I mean, this one's a savage pin. So say, where are you going to get a good drive to down here? Maybe leave yourself kind of 150. Pin on the right hand side. I see too many people kind of just looking at that pin and going, oh, I like that. It's only an 8 iron. And attacking that pin, oh, I've done it right. And attacking that pin and just missing it slightly right, and then you're in a whole world of trouble. You've just got to make sure that you miss it on the right side. If you miss that right, that's game over. So I'd actually just be aiming that at the big tree on the left. And just try and hit it kind of at that big tree on the left, really. From there, get the right distance. You're going to be 20 odd feet away. If I get it cutting a little bit, then it's moving back towards the target. I'm not running the risk of it going anywhere near the rubbish. The same thing, and again, I do all of this super quickly. So I'm looking as soon as that comes up. So the pin here is on the right hand side. So I'd be looking straight away to try and just make sure, or try if I can, to get it down that left side. So I've just hit 3 wood, and I'm trying to get it right down in that left corner of the fairway. It doesn't matter if I'm slightly in the rough, because that then from there gives me the best line in. So I feel like I can now kind of go at that flag a little bit more, because I'm not going over a bunker or anything like that. Couldn't quite strike it, but that just is going to give me the best shot in. Just did it a bit too hard. Alrighty, I'm done. I've got another hour and a half of teaching to do, so thanks guys, thanks for listening, thanks for the questions. More than happy to do this again. Think up some good ones. We'll see you next time. Thank you.